Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the third TLS Qualifier. I am super excited to be here along with Elegant.
Yep. Hello, Mr. Sale. I am also incredibly excited to be here as well. I've been kind of stoked up for this all week, but especially all day. I've just been really looking forward to this moment. So I'm so hyped to see who's going to be playing tonight.
Indeed, man. It's a crazy list. I saw somebody link the bracket already, actually. But yeah, there are some super old school names there. Kenzie, Foskin, Liquid Drone, Nogrim. We've got all kinds of players coming out of the woodwork today. Even some community favorites like Quark and Chill are playing. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
But more importantly, for those of you who tuned in last week, you might notice something a little different about me and Elegant. It might be could it be the haircut? Haircut? No, not quite. Not quite. No, in fact, my head is glowing. That's right.
Damn right.
That's the
Damn
thing.
right. Yeah.
Because in fact, I have a little secret actually, a little confession to make, which is that I am Iron Man. That's right. I am Tony Stark. That's why I got the thing, the gadgetry. No, actually, we got these cool new headsets from Razer. Yeah, that's right. Razer was not only kind enough to sponsor the TLS, but they were like, hey, you know what? We're gonna be super awesome and send Sale and Elegant some headsets to wear on the cast. So yeah, I got an awesome headset. Elegant's got an awesome headset, and that's pretty cool.
Absolutely. I couldn't be happier. This is like the best thing I've ever got for casting a tournament, apart from obviously credit and love from fans and whatnot.
The fame and the glory.
Yeah, the fame and the glory. That's why I usually do it, but now I'm doing it for the gear, so it's kind of gone up a notch. So I need gear now. Otherwise, it's a no.
Yeah, mine in fact even changes colors. See, Elegant didn't know this. I had to explain to him. Mine has like these cool little thingies on the bottom that like change colors depending on how high your APM is. So basically, like in my case, it would never change colors because I just have like the lowest APM setting. But if you were good at StarCraft, this headset would change colors to tell you exactly how good you are. So that's good.
That's pretty sick. I thought you were going to tweak it so that it always looked like you're about 1,000 APM.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. But then I think the settings prevent you from like blatantly cheating.
No.
So that didn't quite work out. Yeah.
You'll just have to observe really fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be ridiculous. You're in for a whirlwind, guys.
Indeed. So yeah, let's just go straight into the games.
Yeah.
By that I mean look at the first matchup, which is in fact a very interesting one, because of course last week, or actually the previous 2 weeks, dominated by Zergs, right? Spoiler alert: 4 Zergs qualified so far. But in last week's qualifier in particular, I challenged my good Protoss buddy Draw, aka King Canada. He said, "Sale, if you cast one of my games, I'll win the whole qualifier." So you know what I did? I casted his game first, and he didn't come through. It's a terrible person.
Shocking.
He did. He made it to the round of 4, right? He made
I
it to the
think
semifinals.
Yeah. He definitely made it to the semi-final.
But he didn't get to the finals. He played a good series, but he didn't get to the finals. So you know what?
He was impressive.
You know what? I'm gonna try again. So today's first match is gonna be Draw, a heroic Protoss, against. Now here's the twist. It's gonna be against Poetic AoV, who is none other than our dear Elegant's brother. That's right, his own flesh and blood.
Yeah, he is indeed. So I'm gonna have to send him a quick message in like the little video which plays between this and the game, just to say you're on stream, so watch, because this is quite exciting for me as well. I feel strangely proud,
Now, honestly though, how would you rate Poetic's chances against Draw? All bias aside.
All bias aside, I'm going to have to say he probably won't win. Historically, TVP is actually his weakest matchup, and of course I know that very, very well from a huge amount of personal experience. But you can never discount him because he's got a lot of kind of quirky stuff under his belt. Not like he's a cheesy player, but he's always got something to bring out when he knows he needs to win a game against a better player, which Draw undoubtedly is. So I definitely don't think we can discount him.
Sounds good. Now this is in fact a round of 128 match, so it's essentially the first round, unless you're one of those unlucky few players who had to play the round of 256, just to how the brackets worked out.
Yeah.
But so this is still a best of 1 round, so one game will decide which of these guys goes through. So if Poetic can in fact pull out something cheesy, then he will have eliminated a top contender in this qualifier. So
It'll be amazing.
I think without further ado, we will go straight into the game. Ladies and gentlemen, Draw versus Poetic. This is the TSL Qualifiers round of 128. Here we go. Alright, and here we go into the game. In the bottom right corner as the yellow Terran, we have Poetic AoV. And at the bottom left as the brown Protoss, we have sas.dRaW here on Fighting Spirit.
Yes, we do indeed, and this is going to be exciting stuff. I just saw someone in the chat doubting the skills of Poetic AoV, so for all you doubters, I say wait until you've seen at least one game, because he very rarely been casted before, but he's been putting in, I know he's been putting in a lot of effort for these games. I know he's been practicing really, really hard recently. And he's straight up practicing, no dodging, plenty of games. So I think we're going to see something good out of him. So don't you go discounting him. This can be seriously good stuff. We see him spawning in the beautiful yellow in the bottom right hand corner. And this, for the first time in this tournament, I actually have been rooting against Draw, because I think it was quite blatant before the last cast that I was rooting quite hard for Draw just because I thought he played so awesomely. But yeah, this is a slightly new experience.
I was going to say, this is actually perfect. See, so you can take Poetic's side and root for him, and I'll take Draw's side because I'm a huge Draw fanboy. Yeah, we can have a bit of a caster battle while the players are duking it out on the map. That'll be quite exciting. Ooh, speaking of which, Draw is actually doing one of his signature moves here. He loves to do this. Pylon on the high ground does actually power this gateway on the low ground. This is one of those quirky things on Fighting Spirit that players have figured out, and that's going to let him put on some early Zealot pressure on Poetic. He's in fact also scouting cross map, which is very interesting, checking the longest travel path for his Zealots first, just to see if he has to do that and maybe change up what he had in mind, maybe go for a slightly earlier Nexus, or if they're spawning in close locations, he can go for the more aggressive approach, which is what he wants to do with that forward gateway.
Yeah, the forward gateway is always an interesting decision. It kind of throws a lot of extra stuff into the pod. It always makes me immediately jump to the idea of a much faster expansion, because it's not uncommon to kind of concede a little bit of ground in the earlier stages of the game, perhaps if you're facing against a strong FD or something, and have to kind of back off up your ramp a little bit. So this kind of makes me think early expansion, or definitely a high pressure play coming out from Draw.
Now, very interestingly, Poetic actually sent out 2 scouting SCVs, which I think is a little bit unusual in this matchup. And he actually checked the middle with one of his SCVs for proxy gates, and then sent the 2 SCVs to different spawning locations. So he's actually the one suspecting some cheesy play out of Draw, which is quite curious. You know, usually you'd think the stronger player, or sorry, the weaker player is the one who cheeses. The stronger player is the one who will go for the longer game. But in this case, Poetic's like, I don't know, I don't trust this Draw guy. He's pretty devious.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what he's thinking. Also, I know that Poetic got rather ignominiously cheesed out by Lancer X in the last qualifier, so I think he's been burned once, and he definitely wants to ensure nothing like that happens again. We see this Supply Depot going down there behind the minerals, forcing Drill to drill back through the mineral lines. And the Cybernetic score now happening for our noble Protoss player. The first Zealot's now making the way into the Terran base. Going to have a quick pop at that SCV. How is our building positioning? Our building positioning is looking good. So those Marines should be safe enough. Just got to keep that Zealot running around until the SCV can finish its great work completing that factory, which it looks like might not quite be able to do. Draw doing some decent probe micro in order to make sure that SCV goes down, but that factory is going to complete fairly soon nonetheless, and the Zealot probably won't be doing too much damage. But the second Zealot comes in now as well, so this is going to really push the micro of Poetic a little bit, but the factory is done and the machine shop goes down straight away. Choosing not to opt for an early vulture, quite a daring move there from Poetic.
Yeah, that's really strange there. I can't believe he isn't going to get the vulture now. He must be supremely confident in his Marine control, and you know, it has been pretty good so far. He has actually cleared out both Zealots. So the third Zealot that was incoming looks like he's going to turn back. There is a Dragoon now on the way. I was going to say, you know, he did have this nice anti-Zealot SimCity. Zealots cannot pass through between these buildings, at least I don't think they can. But it was slightly far away from the factory, which I was dubious about. I'm always concerned about Terrans, you know, making a nice, cute little Sim City and then building a factory just like far away from it, so it does absolutely nothing. Meanwhile, what is this? Proxy factory. A proxy factory from Poetic at Draw's third here. Draw, I don't think, has any idea about this, and this could be very bad because if Draw continues being aggressive with his units. Oh, wait a minute. There's a Zealot going up here.
Oh my god.
Oh no, it stopped! It stopped!
I don't know if that's actually intending to look for proxies or if that's just slight miscontrol, but Draw's looking like he might be kind of onto this. There's no real hint that this is going to be happening. If Draw does find it, it'll be just simply a matter of good scouting rather than any actual kind of clues coming into him, because I really don't know how he would have had any inkling of this yet. He might be safe against this. He's getting a robot though. He's only off one gateway so far, so he might be a little bit light on units. He's going to be facing down against a 2 factory. So this is actually going to be really, really interesting. Draw's going to be pushed to his micro limits right here.
It's actually interesting though, because he's kind of staying back here by his natural. I would have thought he'd be a little bit more aggressive considering that opening, but he's actually playing it very, very safe. Oh, just as I say that though, he does move out, and this is actually the danger. See, Draw thinks he's still in a good position. You know, he did some early harassment. He wants to continue keeping the pressure on him. More importantly, you know, he wants to kind of have his Dragoons here so that if the Terran does move out, he can kind of do the scoot and shoot micro with the Dragoons and kind of pick off Marines and stuff as he falls back to his natural. But the problem with that is, if you move your Dragoons out like that, the Vultures from the second factory are free to just run into your base, kill all your probes. He's only got one gateway producing, and if all his units are out of position, then he has the 2 gateways, but you know, if all his Dragoons are out of position and he just gets unlucky with the timing and there's no Dragoon popping out of the gateway, he could just be basically dead once the Vultures get into his base.
Yeah, he would definitely lose a lot of his economy. That's absolutely true. We currently have 3 Vultures and 3 Siege Tanks and 6 Marines, so this is going to be a pretty heavy push coming in from our Terran player right now. He's researching the Vulture speed. I think he doesn't have mines yet, does he? I'm pretty sure. Oh no, he does have mines. He does have spider mines in already. Okay, so if he can get in behind those Dragoons, then he's going to be able to do some serious damage, and Draw actually decides to move out at this point with every single one of his Dragoons towards the Terran player, so he's actually running the pretty serious risk of having 4 Vultures blocking his path home. However, he does have plenty of Dragoons right here, and the first engagement comes in. Poetic needs to be very, very careful with his tanks, or he's going to lose all of them pretty much straight away. He needs to get that Vulture laying down some mines right away, but the Vultures are going into the main of Draw and starting to lay down mines now. Do we have observers on the way? We do have observers on the way. There is a Reaver building as well, and this is about to get pretty intense for our Protoss player Draw. He's going to have to sacrifice a fair amount of probes to actually get rid of these Vultures, unless he manages some very, very nice mines right here.
Oh man, those Zealots have to be so careful not to drag the mines into the probes. The probes are just getting completely massacred here. It's a drone genocide. Oh man, he might just lose all of his probes. The Zealot has gone down. Where's the Reaver? The Reaver is nowhere close here. The 2 Vultures just killing everything, but the Dragoons, on the other hand, are moving into the base, but they don't have any detection. So if there's spider mines here, they will not be able to move any further, but there's no mines in the main base. Only Vultures left here, so these Dragoons now have free reign over the Terran base, and it looks like all the probes are dead though. All the probes have died. Draw still has 300 minerals. He can still make more probes. He can make some scraps from the Reaver. They will be able to kill the Vultures. And now the problem is, how does Poetic actually clear the Dragoons out of his main base? I have no idea. He needs to fight with his SCVs right now as soon as the tank pops out.
Yeah, he needs to drill over to his opponent's base to make the best use of his SCVs, because SCVs actually aren't too bad against Dragoons. You'll be surprised to hear. There's still a Vulture in the Protoss' main laying down mines, but I don't know if Poetic's actually going to be able to survive at all. The tank pops out, but it's immediately taken down by the Dragoons. He's unable to trap a Dragoon, and for some reason he's just not drilling to his opponent's minerals at all. And it looks like actually this is a little bit of a stalemate right now, because Draw has how many probes? 0 probes left on the map, but Poetic's having to lift off all his buildings. And
oh man,
unfortunately, it has to be said that, yeah, in this situation, it's usually the Protoss who's going to come out on top.
Yeah, when you have to lift all of your buildings, you're probably not winning the game as a Terran. I think that's just as a general rule of thumb.
It's a good rule.
Man, I'm not really sure what he's thinking right now. I mean, you know, maybe he's hoping that, like, Draw doesn't have any more minerals to build probes, so if he floats a building to like an impassable ground, it'll be a tie, because the Dragoons can't get it. Because they're like, if you float it behind the natural here, I don't think Dragoons can shoot it, even if they have vision. So so that would be a draw in that case. Ho ho ho.
Draw.
But,
fail.
But in fact, the Draw does still have some minerals. Although it looks like Poetic's trying to change that. He's going to kill one of these probes. The probe's running for its life. It should run into the shuttle. It should really just escape. It is going to escape into the shuttle. He's gonna load it up. The SCVs are running all over the place. I don't know where they're going. There's no command center anymore, so it's not like he can mine. He just needs to use the SCVs to kill stuff. These Dragoons are actually standing in the base because they're afraid there's spider mines here. So if they all die to mines, right? Oh man, this is actually really interesting because if the goons die to mines, only the Reaver is left to defend the probes. But because scarabs cost minerals, like I think Draw might be afraid that if he spends money on scarabs and tries to make probes, but he just happens to lose his probes, he could actually just end up in a draw game as well in that case. So he's actually too scared to move out these goons.
I can exactly see why. He does have a... Oh no, that's a shuttle. I thought it was an observer, but it's a shuttle. Heading back to bail out his Dragoons. Poetic is going to have 4 SCVs, a tank, and a vulture to close this game out. If he cannot take care of that Reaver without taking too many casualties, it is going to be game over for him, unfortunately. So let's see what he can do right here. But this is fascinating stuff, the situation we find ourselves in. And... yeah, the gateway goes down. The Reaver is sat on the ramp. Will Poetic be able to get to that Reaver before the shuttle arrives back? That is the crux of it. And it looks like the shuttle will just make it back in time. He tanks some damage with his SCVs. He might be able to take down the Reaver, blocking with the SCVs as best he can, but it looks like that ramp will be impenetrable to him. Draw's micro is just going to be too good right here, I think. Although the Dragoons are looking in serious risk of going down, but all the SCVs, apart from one, are now finished. The tank... on 1 hit left.
And 5 supply left for Poetic. 3 supply left. A single tank and a single SCV is going to try and save the day. I mean, I know siege tanks are OP, but still. Do you have a probe? Oh, going to give his opponent benefit of the doubt and say GG.
GG.
And Draw will take that game. Oh, man.
Crazy stuff.
What a game.
Yeah, that was... intense.
Matt, but the funny thing would be though is if Draw actually didn't have any probes left, and Poetic goes, "Yo, do you have any probes?" He's like, "I totally have probes, man. I am definitely mining. If you try and hide a building, I'll make a scout and I'll kill it, and you will be embarrassed. So just leave the game." That would have been an epic bluff right there.
But that ended up out as pretty close stuff right there. I didn't quite see that game being so close in the end. But yeah, I just think that Poetic could have been a little bit more on the ball with his micro at home. I mean, I know it was quite a substantial counterattack, but I think maybe just been a little more diligent in blocking his ramp, just in crucially not letting those Dragoons get up the ramp in the first place, then he could have got away with it a lot better, I think, by just dealing with the high ground advantage.
Yeah, I mean, man, it was so close at the end. I don't even know where he pulled out that random siege tank at the end. Like, I guess he had enough money to just make one. And if that shuttle, also, even at the very end, if the shuttle was like 10 seconds slower, he could have just busted up the ramp, killed the rest of the probes, and at least forced a draw. I don't think he could have won at the end, but definitely would have been funny if he forced a tie game and a regame there. Oh, man, really sneaky stuff. Now, I can't tell you how many times I've lost to that kind of hidden factory backstab with vultures. Ugh!
It's brutal,
so
isn't it?
Annoying.
Because you have to have your plan already in your head immediately. If you don't counterattack immediately, you're going to lose your window of opportunity very, very quickly. I mean, very soon, Poetic would have had more mines out at his natural. And so the counterattack would have been blocked. And it was just the fact that Draw knew exactly what to do, knew exactly how to react in that situation. And that's crucial, not just in situations like that, but throughout Brood War. You have to know where you're headed in a given situation. Otherwise, you're going to miss your chance.
Absolutely. All right, so we're going to do a quick commercial break, and then when we come back, we'll have another awesome game for you guys. So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned.